Okay, I have more math. We're gonna call this advanced decimals. Decimals. Notice that the C followed by the I says it does. C or G, when followed by their secret letters of I, E, or Y, will take on their different sounds. So C will say S, or G says J if it's followed by these letters. I love bringing that up so that if I bring it up 1,083 times, you will remember. Okay, now in our unit, 5th grade, they teach us that 3/4, to turn this into a decimal, we will make an equivalent fraction that puts us over 100. And we talked about this the other day, that in other cases they maybe said 2/5, and that was a lot easier to break into tenths, because 5 times 2 equals 10, which means 4 times 2 would 2 times 2 would equal 4. I get ahead of myself sometimes because I know the answer. And you say this word as 4/10, right? So this is the same thing as 4/10. Oh my gosh, 4/10 is the same as 4/10? It is. But that is how they are teaching you now in 5th grade of changing fractions into decimals. And we talked about that also with when it doesn't work with tenths, because we can't multiply 4 to fit into 10. 2 4s are going to equal 8, 3 4s equal 12, which is more than 10. So we broke them into 100, which we should kind of know already because it's quarters, but we can also prove it. So let's see. 4 times 25. Let's do that over here just to prove it. 25 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry the 2. 2 times 4 is 8, plus another 2 is 100. Did it work? It did. Okay. So 4 times 25 equals 100. 3 times 25 is going to equal 75. Now we did suspect that 4 times 25 was going to equal 100 because although you can call this 1/4, let's write that out. It's hard to hold things. 1/4, right? It is also called 1/4. And I just get so excited about how everything ties together in the world. Do you notice that quads have 4? Sometimes you say a quad is 4 rooms, like in a college dorm, or a quad has 4 wheels if it's an ATV sort of thing. And quarter, can't think of any other qua right now. But it's true. It's a prefix. Qua is going to mean 4. And you know that this is a quarter. And if we had 1, that would be 25 cents. And if we had 2, that would be 50 cents. Notice how 25 cents written as a decimal, because it is 25 cents out of 100. These would be hundredths. Pennies are hundredths, right? Penny, 0, 1. This is an arrow. A penny is 1/100th of a dollar. We're going to use our Sacagawea to be our dollar. Remember her? Sacagawea? She's worth $1. So there are 100 pennies. These are hundredths of a dollar. And the decimal matches. Quarters. We have 1/4 equals 25 cents. 2 quarters would now be 50 cents. Half a dollar, because 5 is half of 10, if we were talking about tenths. And then we have 75 cents. And that, my friends, is $1. 4 out of 4, boop, is $1. We had 75 cents, and then we have $1, because we already proved that 4 quarters equaled $1. And just for fun, tying back to our lovely color, remember how these were tenths? If we were suddenly talking about our dollar being a whole, this, the dime, is now, boop, boop, 10 cents. And we call it 10 cents because we're counting up these little pennies. We don't call it a tenth, but it is. And that is why, if we had 10 little pennies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I'm sure they're in there. 8, 9, 10. Okay, say that I got 10. That would equal a dime. It's exactly the same thing. Penny times 10 equals a dime. 1 penny is a hundredth times 10 equals a tenth, i.e. the dime. Okay, but that is not really what I meant to talk about today. What I wanted to talk about was how we get from the 3/4 to 75 hundredths, which would equal 75, right? But what if you didn't want to leave it as a fraction? Did Mrs. Sepko secretly tell you that, well, it wasn't even too much of a secret. Aren't I always telling you that a fraction is a division problem we're choosing not to answer right now? Well, we were just talking about 3/4, right? What if we did 3 divided by 4? I told you this once before. This is 6th grade math. But it works this way too. And this is why I'm telling you as a fun secret, because if this is boring, try this. Now, we can't fit 4 into 3. So what are we going to do? That is, my friends, when you create a decimal and we put a 0 over here, because isn't 3 wholes the same as 3 and no extra little parts? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Mrs. Sepko. So does 4 fit into 30? Yes, it does. 7 times. This is hard for me to write. There we go. 7 times, because 7 times 4 equals 28. Sorry, 28. Very difficult to write. This little piece of paper is wiggly under my one hand. Now we subtract, because 7 times 8 was 28. 30 minus 28 is going to give us 2. Really difficult to write. Remember, we had to put our decimal here. We had our decimal here. And we can divide using the place value of where we are above the number we're dividing from. Now, 7 times 4 was 28. We subtracted. We got the 2. Does 4 fit into 2? No, it doesn't. So we're going to create another 0. Boop, 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 boop. Bring that down. Does 4 fit into 20? Yes, it does. 5 times 4 equals 20. We subtract. If Mrs. Sepko can draw a picture, we subtract, and 20 minus 20 is 0. So we just found that it was 75 using division instead of turning it into a fraction. Let's see if you can do that with other numbers as well.